Hey, what's up, Market Moose? Mike from the Moose on the Loose. How are you doing on this Retirement Friday? Today, big question. What's the best age to retire? I know it's kind of crazy. I'm 44, so not about to retire anytime soon. But it got me thinking. I got this conversation with my best friend, and we were thinking about like seasons of life, right? Seasons of life in a sense where right now my kids are still young, they're still at home, so I'm still working full time because I want to, but also because there's not much else to do. I mean, there's a limit of how long the walk I will take with my dogs during the day, right? So I might as well just work while everybody is out. But at one point, that is going to change. So then it got me thinking about what is the best age to retire. You know, I read the book Die with Zero by Bill Perkins a few months ago. And I mean, I was already convinced about using all my resources right now to create memories and live off those dividend memories with my wife, my children, my family, my friends. But in the book, there's also another topic where he discusses the balance between your age to retirement, the money you have, and the health that you have, right? Because if you retire young, yeah, you have all the time in the world, but then you're going to lack of money, and then you're going to have all the health as well. And then if you wait too long, if you retire at the age of 85, well, you have not much time left. You probably have full of money, but the health is probably not that strong. So how can you create a balance between the time of your retirement, so the time that you will have, versus the money versus your health? And that is an interesting question. And one way to do that is actually to run it's a spreadsheet calculator, like, or a financial projection to see how it could influence your decision between, I tried it in my situation between retiring at the age of 55, 65, or 70. And of course, the point here today is really to talk about the difference and the key between both, between the three choices, and see how like a 5 year could impact your decision moving forward. So what I did is I used the retirement loop spreadsheet. If you want to know more about Retirement Loop, and if you want to have information about retirement, you can subscribe to the free newsletter at retirementloop.ca/income. So it's retirementloop.ca at income. All right. So base assumption. Well, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing right now in terms of like putting money aside, working, the salary, and so on. I discarded completely the business valuation because I wanted to have like the base rules. Because of course, if I can sell dividend stocks rock in 15 years at a great price, I mean, that's going to be bonus, but I cannot really count on that. For CPP and OAS, I mean, QPP in my case, I'm gonna take them at the age of 70 because it's going to be my safety net going forward. So maximum guaranteed income from those government benefits at the age of 70. And this is how I intended to do this. I wanted to see the impact of stopping at the age of 55, 65, or 70, yet CPP and OAS always at 70 anyways. Base income, base expenses, plus $15,000 per year for traveling. So now I need to figure out what will be my retirement budget besides that 15K for traveling per year. And the 15K will happen between 55 and 70. So thinking 15 years of traveling, I mean, that would be an amazing life, right? And I would be super happy to do that. Keep in mind, I was working 2 jobs in my 20s between like the age of actually, between 20 and 30, I was working 2 jobs and having a sideline on top of that on an online gig. So I was literally working 3 jobs. So that's why I was able to put a lot of money aside at that time. It was not because my parents were rich. It was not because I received money from anyone. I just worked a ton load of hours, and this is how it happened. So at 55, retirement investment accounts should be around 1.5 million if I retire at the age of 55. So about $200,000 from the Smith Manover account, $600,000 from the RSP, and then $700,000 from my Lira account, assuming that it continues to grow at 6.5%. The bonus at the age of 55 is I'm healthier, I have more time. Of course, it's going to have an impact on my CPP and OAS because I will not contribute to the full age, so it's going to lower the numbers. Less time to invest, of course, but yet if I reach above $1 million, it's going to be nice. And what the projection told me using the retirement loop spreadsheet is I can live off $70,000 per year, net of taxes, on top of spending an extra $15K for 15 years for traveling. So 70 grand after taxes at the age of 55, that's pretty cool. And when you look at what it represents from the 1.5 million, it's like 4.7%. It's almost 5% withdrawal rate. So we're extending a little bit far in terms of like if you're thinking about the 4% withdrawing rules, but still getting an interesting plan where I would need a little bit more of safety nets. In this one, what I did though in my projection is I did not consider the sale of my main property, which is going to happen in my 80s at one point. So if I'm running out of money because of a bad market and I'm withdrawing a little bit more than I was expected at 5%, I should still be okay considering the fact that I'm going to sell my house and it's going to replenish my investment account. The other thing to consider is when you consider the 4% rule, it's like all those calculations are based on a classic portfolio that is 60% invested in stocks and 40% invested in fixed income. My portfolio has always been 100% invested in stocks, which my expected return should be greater than a 60-40 balanced portfolio. At retirement, I will just have the cash wedge to avoid selling shares during a bad market, but I've already covered that in a previous episode. So retiring at 55, 70 grand a year, plus the $15,000 for travel expenses for 15 years sounds like a very, very robust plan. I love that idea. If I wait another 10 years, not for fun, but let's say I keep on working this at the same pace. At the age of 65, that budget of 70K goes up to 114. And we're talking about today's dollars always. So 40,000, 44. So let's say let's round it up to $45,000 more because you wait 10 years. I don't think I'm going to do that just because I don't necessarily need more money, but I wanted to highlight the difference of waiting like 10 years for retirement could completely change your budget. And if you have like different numbers than me, that's all fine because you'll see the same conclusion that those 10 years will have a dramatic impact on your retirement. Of course, if you retire at 65, you will have less time. You will probably be less healthy than you were at 55 as well. Still, you can be in shape, but you have like plenty of money to benefit from and enjoy retirement at this point. So there is an interesting trade-off here to be made. Retiring at the age of 70, of course, I mean, it's just getting better in terms of budget, but it goes from 114 to 135. So another $20,000. Definitely not enough to move the needle in my case. Definitely the scenario where I retired 55 sounds a little bit more interesting. But now, here's the thing, here's the kicker. Do I really want to retire in 11 years? And the answer is I'm not sure. Like retire in the sense that I'm not going to work at all? I don't think so. I don't see myself stop working completely. And this is the second part of retirement that you have to consider. Yes, we have the numbers that we have talked about today, but the sense of purpose, like what are you going to do in your day? I actually enjoy recording those podcasts, going into financial statements, talking about the stock market every single day. So I will eventually slow down in terms of hours of what I'm going to do, but I don't think I'm going to stop doing it because I'm having fun. And if I'm having fun, well, I'm enjoying life. And that's the most important part, right? I have a sense of purpose because I know that I'm helping investors as well do the same thing. So before you think about retiring young, think about what you're going to do next because that could change a lot in your retirement plan. So, all right, Moose, that's enough for today. I hope that you have enjoyed this one. If you are looking for 20 source of income products for your retirement, I have them all lined up, all analyzed completely non-biased thoughts on them, and you can find them at retirementloop.ca/income. So it's retirementloop.ca/income. We're going to talk again on Monday, and until then, don't forget to stay invested.